It's been exactly a year since I joined an art academy to learn how to draw and how to paint, and in this video I want to show you my 1-year progress. And if you're new here, my name is Katerina, I put my corporate career on hold, and I joined an art academy at 30, beginning from absolute zero. Here I share my artistic journey, the real challenges, breakthroughs, and lessons I learned along the way. Welcome to my channel. I joined an art academy exactly 1 year ago as a full-time student, and I had only 6 months, thinking that after that I would have gone back to corporate. In reality, it was the best 6 months of my life, and that's why I found a way to make it slightly longer. But now the plan is to become a full-time artist, and that's why I'm working really hard at the academy to make so that my dream becomes a reality. And one way you can help me to achieve this goal is to subscribe to my YouTube channel and support my growth in here, because you never know if one day social media could be a source of income. I guess that could be an option. This anniversary motivated me to stop and look back at my artistic journey, and that's why I have laid back all my drawings and paintings here on the floor and in chronological order, and I'm gonna walk you through what my journey has been. But before getting there, I want to raise a couple of points on the methods I follow to get to where I am now. If you're not interested, you can directly skip to the drawing chapter. In the first place, the academy that I'm attending doesn't follow the BARG method that most of the private academies follow. The BARG method is just a method where you start by drawing from the outlines and then you go inside and do a very precise rendering of the figure. The poses are super long and you have to have a model in front of you. However, this type of method doesn't teach you to draw from imagination. On the other side, the method that we follow, I don't know if it actually has a name, but it's a method through which we start from within and then we position the outlines. So basically, we start drawing a stickman when we need to draw a figure. We draw literally action lines and then we put the rib cage on the top, the head, the pelvis, and so on. And only when we have these elements, we start building the outlines. This method goes along with knowing very well the forms in the space. The cube, the sphere, the cylinder, and every part of the body we see or any object that's around us can be simplified in these simple shapes. When we're able to move these forms into space and when we also memorize the muscles that make our body, we are also able to draw from imagination, but also from reality. So let's say it's just a more versatile method. On paper, it sounds even better than BARG to me because it allows you to do more things, but in reality, only the time will tell us by showing us the results. The only thing I can think of is the way our teachers paint, and it is amazing. I really admire them. The second point I wanted to raise is that in my first 2 months at the academy, the teachers that we had were different from the ones we have right now, and also the method was slightly different. So by having a disruption of teachers and methods right at the beginning of my journey created a little bit of confusion in my head, and this made my journey not so linear. In fact, at the beginning of my journey, we used to have a different model every day, and also the pose used to change very quickly. In fact, we only worked through quick sketches, and by quick sketches, I mean sketches that lasted from 30 seconds until 30 or 40 minutes maximum. So compared to what we're doing now, and I'm gonna tell you in a second, these to me are very quick sketches actually. From September, things really changed, and now when we have the model, we always start the class with 30 minutes of quick sketches, and here I mean with sketches which last 30 seconds until 5 or 10 minutes maximum. And then the long pose starts, and by long pose I mean a pose that lasts 1 or 2 weeks normally. So every morning there's a pose, every afternoon there's another pose. So it's normally a 2 hours, 2 hours and a half long pose session, besides the 30 minutes quick sketches. This switch has been very helpful for me to progress, but I'm gonna tell you more as long as I show you my drawings and my paintings. Said this, now we can start with the drawing progress, and later I will also show you the paintings. As I said, here are all my most recent drawings, most recent because the other ones are in this book that I'm gonna flip with you right now. And here we are with my very first day at the academy. As you can see, the teacher was showing me here what to do, and he was like, yeah, start from within, put some lines on the outlines, and that's how you're supposed to do the quick sketches, because the main thing about the initial method was the quick sketches. So here I am. I will try to flip through quite quickly because I've already shown a video where I do this in a deeper way, let's say, but yeah, this was a composition study. We used to do composition studies at times where, you know, the whole class spread randomly around the room and we had to draw our point of view. But this was, remember, my very first day at the academy. Here's another, and here we go with the quick sketches. This is a type of the quick sketches we were doing. I think this was like 30 seconds. I'm gonna show you later the very big difference that there is with current quick sketches. Some portrait drawings. Here are my first portrait drawings. These were 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I can slightly recognize the people I was drawing in here. It's crazy because, I mean, it was like my second day there. Or even my first one, because this is the second day. Second day, my first whole figure. I think it was like around 30 minutes. Here we are with another one. Portrait drawings on my second day as well. I think that was like the portrait month. Here we go with another figure drawing. Look at the line, how messy it is. This is 2 minutes quick sketches. I'm gonna show you my current 2 minutes quick sketches. 1 minute, 2 minutes. You see, like there's a bunch of line. You cannot even understand what that is. 10 minutes where we drew each other. These were some people around the room. 20 plus 20 minutes, so this was a 40 minutes pose. 5 minutes. On the top you can usually see how long it took me to draw that thing. 5 minutes. I taped down all the quick sketches so you won't have to see all the random lines. And this was the karate guy. So sometimes we had a karate guy who came there and we had to draw him while he was moving and while he was practicing. So you can barely see anything. I had no clue of what to do here, and you can definitely see again him. But here sometimes he stopped in some positions. So this was 4 minutes of him. 4 minutes of him. You will see slightly later how different it is. 4 minutes of him, 2 minutes of him. 4 minutes. Some more quick sketches. Like, look at this. What is this? 40 minutes. 40. Here I was really fighting with tratteggio. You can really see. 20 minutes. Look how the lines are so messy, like I have no clue of what I'm doing. I was really not understanding the tratteggio, and I mean, I only had 40 minutes to draw the entire figure and understand the way to put tratteggio. I was so confused, I was so frustrated. Although I was super happy to go at the academy, like you can see all my frustration with drawing in here. Some perspective exercise, so from the top, from the bottom. Like, look, I'm very, very confused about the tratteggio. Tratteggio is hatching. Here are some more quick sketches. This model used to do very weird poses, so here you can barely understand. I think here they improved already a little bit. Here it was kind of a long pose. I think it was like a couple of hours, because instead of painting, this was a painting day. And because our days were divided in drawing and painting at the beginning, I decided not to paint but just to draw, and here she is. It was an amazing pose inspired by Velázquez's Venus of Rokeby. Some portraits. I remember really like this portrait of my teacher, of Giotto. He really looks like him. Still now I can see the likeliness to him. Are we improving here? I'm not sure. I'm still very confused. Here is the same pose from different points of view, but it's like 15 minutes and 30 minutes, I would say. You cannot even see the difference that much. And here is the karate guy again. Here at least one 4-minute sketch, another 4-minute one. This is not too bad, is it? Here he was repeating some punches, and here another 4-minute. I think that every time he came, I could see a slight improvement into drawing him. Here with charcoal, exercises with charcoal, you can see it's slightly smudged. And here he was moving, but here my ideas are slightly clearer on what he was doing, well, like on what I was supposed to do while he was moving. 4 minutes and another 4 minutes one. Here we go again with portraits. He is very similar to reality. I was proud of myself, and I'm still proud of myself for this. Some karateka and portrait, some more portraits. And I think that from here we switched teachers, but we kept working with the earlier method because we switched teachers at the end of April, and we definitely switched method in September. So I had May and June where we had one model a day and kind of quick poses. So yeah, that was it. But here I was starting to, understand slightly differently what to do. I was a bit confused. To me, this was an important drawing. It's still a 40 minutes pose, I don't mind this, but it was an important one because I think one of the teachers came to me and they were like, you're using such a bold pencil, it's so strong, maybe you should be more delicate. And I think that helped me to be more delicate in the further drawings and improve a little bit. But there was a switch, like together with this was the day I was understanding something. You see, it's still the same model. Here is the day that kind of created an existential crisis. Here we started drawing from imagination a little bit. This is a lecture. Here is a portrait of a student. And now we are switching sketchbook. I have another one. And here we are with the other sketchbook. I will quickly flip through it. But you see, I'm becoming more delicate here. And also I went with a bigger sketchbook than before. It was much more comfortable. You see, they're showing me how to use the method from the inside and then the outside. I was still very confused here. I was not understanding too much. And this is the first pose I can call very long pose, because I think in total this was about 3 hours or something like that. And you can see that here I took more time to both define the structure and also to define the shading. He still looks very hairy because of the hatching I put, but I think it really helped me understand something, to stop a little bit. And I think that's what the long poses really helped me with, to pause and consolidate the concept I was learning, because when you rush through the quick sketches, 40 minutes may seem long, but it's actually a very short time to think through, put the things in the right place. I think at the beginning, if you're not proficient already, that's very difficult to do, and long poses really help you with that. And I'm still at the beginning, so okay, here I completely got the composition wrong. This is so small compared to the paper. You see how delicate I started going? I think that helped quite a lot. Here they already made so much more sense, no? Like I'm also cleaner in the way I draw. Anatomy, anatomy. Here I dedicated 45 minutes only to the structure. I didn't even put the shadow down. I started taking my time, and that's what I really needed to do. I really like this one. It's a 40 minutes one, but it makes sense, no? The first drawing of a cast where I decided I wanted to take more time. And I think this took me about a couple of 3 hours. The hatching is really bad, like it's really messy, but it improved so much and I'm going way more delicate. At least I think you kind of understand what this is about, no? I really like this drawing. This also was a painting day, so the model was in the same pose for 3 hours, but I decided not to paint, but only to draw. I think it was a good choice. I mean, I really needed to pause a little second. And here it already starts to get some sense, I think. Our second or third long pose, it's going better, right? Do you also see it? Because I see it's going better here. It allowed me to take time as well, and I think honestly long drawings is what really made me click. from here, the academic year finished. I kept practicing during the summer, but remember that after this, as soon as I returned to the academy in September, the method completely switched. I'll quickly show you what I did during the summer with my girls. So we did some drawing sessions, and I think they were very helpful. We decided to focus on portraits. This is Jean, my friend. But I was really happy about this. Like, I think they made so much more sense than what I used to do in the beginning. We used to practice facial features as well, facial expressions. I really like this drawing of a girl who posed for us when we used to do our drawing sessions. And we did quick sketches with her. And here I was starting practicing quick sketches with the new Masters Academy. Sometimes I tell you about that platform. I want to show you better. But look at this, these quick sketches to me are amazing, are still among my favorite ones ever. This is a 30-minute pose and I was really happy with this. Okay, and here we get back at the academy. This was a cast drawing of 12 hours, but this is not bad, right? So finally I have a cast drawing that makes sense. It was the very first cast drawing that I was very happy with, I would say. I have this beautiful écorché drawing. As you see, it's 17th and 19th of September, and the week after the model came. I was really happy with this. It allowed me to understand the anatomy of the face and how I was drawing the portraits and what was under it. So why the planes were changing, why I could see some shadows, maybe because here there was a change of something, or some muscle or some tendons. That was very helpful. After this, I started using the sketchbook only to do quick sketches. And here are some more recent quick sketches. And here we are with all the most recent drawings, starting from the one I was showing you earlier. But as I said, from September, everything changed. So here are the first very long poses. Very long because we started having the model for 2 weeks straight. So I dedicated 1 week to the drawing and 1 week for the painting. This is a 1 week drawing. For the first time, a 1 whole week dedicating to one drawing only. So you can see that I was doing the tratteggio, I was understanding the tratteggio, the hatching slightly more. This is the very first long pose, and here is the second one, where I try to put more anatomy, darker lines, and so on. I like this drawing less than the other one, but I don't mind it. And then we change model straight after. I really like this pose, and I'm gonna show you the painting of this as well later. The anatomy, portrait, 1 week of portrait. Obviously there's less drawings here because clearly now I'm dedicating 1 whole week for one drawing, but before it was like, I don't know, many drawings per week and per day. Here is January. So I did the skull as well, which I've never done, but since I love drawing portraits, like here, I'm very interested into getting to know a little bit more the anatomy of the face, so this was very useful too. And here we get to the most difficult pose I've ever done. So first of all, you can see this is a toned paper together with that one. And this was super difficult because as he was laying, there was a strong foreshortening. As you can see from the paper, I was planning to do a big drawing, but then the more I drew and the more it went shortening basically. And it happened to everyone, to all of us. It was very challenging. The result is okay, I don't mind it. And the last long pose we did so far. Here the model changed like after 2 days, so this was actually a 2 days drawing. You can see that, for example, the hand is too big, the feet, I haven't finished them, but I was liking it so much because it was a new model. His anatomy was amazing, but for different reasons he couldn't stay. And here is how it was coming out, and as you can see, it's like the biggest drawing I was doing. So yeah, this is my drawing progress. I'm gonna show you the painting one. Let me know what you think. Like the progress is very evident, right? And the very big switch was with the long poses. And now, here we go with the painting progress. So here a few things. So before, with the older method, we weren't used to draw before painting. So we directly drew with the brush. So it was a completely alla prima method. And we only had 3 hours to paint whatever we needed to paint. Instead, since the method switched, we first draw for a week and then we paint for another week. But I'm gonna show you more in detail. So when I entered the academy, as I said, in my academy, there's no strong separation between drawing and painting. So unlike other academies, we are not forced to draw for a little while and then paint, but we do both together. So when I started painting these are my very first ones. I wasn't even strong in drawing. Not that now I'm super strong in that, but for sure I improved a lot. But that's why I also believe that it's very important to be able to draw just a little bit before painting, because you can see that the drawing is very weak in these paintings, because here I was directly drawing with the brush before painting, and these are all executed in only 3 hours. So I was rushing through it. I didn't know what I was doing, but that's how I kind of learned, so it's totally fine. And these are my very first painting from casts. We have some casts at the academy, and here they are. So we had some weeks to paint casts and some weeks to paint model. You see the drawing underneath, like the drawing that I did with the brush underneath, it's like very, very weak. You cannot clearly understand the anatomy of the model. You understand the gesture, but it doesn't work too much. Until here, these are just grisailles. And here, during the break at the academy, I started trying colors by myself. And this was my first attempt with colors. I'm actually surprised by myself, because this was also totally alla prima, and something is working, something is happening. As my first attempt with colors on my own, there was no one giving me directions. It's okay, especially because this is my second attempt with color. And although the form, it kind of makes sense, this is green, like she's green, she's Shrek. What's happening here? And this is my third attempt with color. I don't know what was happening here, but I didn't manage to make it work. So in 3 hours, I just gave up. And then I went back to grisaille. This is actually not super bad. But after this, we switched teachers. We switched teachers, and the first few things we still did grisailles. This is the grisaille from the cast, and also this. We were still not really understanding what to do. But then we switched and we started painting on paper and painting with a more refined drawing underneath. And you can already see here, you see that both the drawing and the colors, they start working so much better. I think that we learn a sort of formula that for me, it works very well. So I managed to give a sense to this figure. Here it was just my attempt to do it alla prima again. And here the grisailles. And here they work way better, right? But that's because there was a better drawing underneath. Even this, I don't mind it at all. Like, at least the shapes, they turn, they do things, right? Here is one of my favorite from last year. I was improvising color, I was not using that formula. But I think that all together, I started understanding and everything started making sense. And then we switched academic here. We switched academic here, and here we are. As you see, there's a big improvement here, because this was a 1 week drawing and this was slightly more than a week painting, because I think I did a grisaille with the model in the front, and then I started putting the colors. Look at this, I can call this my first academic painting, my first good academic painting. And here I did the transfer on the canvas of the drawing and I painted over it. And you can really see the difference when there is a solid drawing underneath, right? Same here. I started being more precise with the colors and also in the treatment of the canvas underneath, the background. Look at these two. This is the portrait. This I did all from life. So 1 week for the drawing and 1 week for the painting. What do you think? This compared to this attempt, my first color attempt, the difference is huge, right? Let me know what you think. And here we are. What do you guys think? I'd be super curious to know your really honest opinion and how your artistic journey has progressed maybe in the first year and later. Was it similar to mine or was it very different? Sometimes I think that if I chose a school which followed the Barg method, by now I'd be super proficient at drawing. On the other side, however, I wouldn't have touched a brush because normally they wouldn't allow you to paint in the first year, which is a method I kind of agree with because I think you need to be very good at drawing to paint, and it makes painting easier as well. However, by now I wouldn't be working on my personal project, for example, and if you want to know more about that, give a look to my vlogs. And I think I will keep posting this art progress periodically, probably once a year or so, because this channel is all about that. It's all about showing the artistic challenges, progress, breakthroughs, and so on that you go through when starting a journey like this. So if you want to support my journey, if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, to like and comment the video, and to check my vlogs as well. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!